everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Sasquatch Speaks. I am Sasquatch, otherwise known as Gummy Sauce, coming to you today with another grand idea that is probably not so grand at all. Ironically, I will be following up yesterday's topic. Kind of. Like I said, I have a three-part series, so to speak, just sort of appearance and visual-based ideas to kind of follow over these few short days, depending on the comments that have been coming in on my Thursday video, which will be a link to in the description down below. In case you haven't checked that out, please do. Leave some comments there. Give me some ideas on what you want to see from my channel in the near future. And, yeah. We may continue this series for a few days yet, depending on what sort of results I get out of that. Anyway, moving right along. Today, I want to, yesterday, I talked about ear gauges in the military and briefly mentioned my inclination when I see people with them, that when I do see that, and I'm within like arm's reach of them, and that strange, nigh uncontrollable instinct, impulse, whatever you want to call it, to reach out my hands into the little holes while they're not looking, of course, because it's supposed to be a surprise, and just yank real hard. Sorry, people who are using headphones, but you know, it gets out, it gets there, and it's like, oh, this is something I want to tug on, I want to pull on. And I have this same sort, not the exact same impulse, but the same sort of impulse when I see fellows walking down the street who are displaying their underwear, I guess. Now, I'm not going to get into all the ramifications of what that actually means or where it comes from. Well, maybe I should, because maybe not everybody knows. Okay, so backing up. Plus, I probably need a couple minutes of filler, because this is not a particularly long topic, but, you know, it's a thought I had. Anyway. So I see these guys walking down the street, and it's been going on for several years now, and at the time I didn't know what it meant, and so I did a little research back then, and I found out where it came from and what it meant, and what it means is when a fellow wears his pants around his knees or his ankles, depending on where he is and how little he cares. What it means is that when you are in prison, assumedly an all-male prison, because if it was a co-ed prison, there probably wouldn't be a need for this, but you are in prison, and all these guys are no longer finding their partners of preference. They're like, you know, I'm bored in here. Let's try and make something happen just because we're bored, right? And so they drop them pants down below their butt, start showing a little bit of underwear, and there's a big old sign. Anyone out there is like, hey, if you got something you want to stick back there, this is me saying I'm ready to catch. I have my glove open, and I'm signaling for a fastball, so to speak. Anyway, baseball analogies out of the side, which is good, because I don't know anything about sports. Well, I don't know nothing, but mostly nothing. Anyway, skipping that analogy, moving right along. I've never been in jail, I don't have any intention of going to jail, so it's not really something I'm all that concerned about in that aspect. What I am concerned about is when it has migrated outside of that thing. And like I said, I'm going to sound like an old man because I know it's the young man style. It's supposed to wear your pants down to your knees and just let them hang low. Right. No. No. Sorry, not going along with that trend at all. Sorry. I tend to think of myself in a slightly higher fashion than that. Perhaps it's a little bit haughty or prideful, whatever it is, but I tend to think of myself a little bit higher than that. Could be because of my grandfather. Probably, in fact, yes, it is. I'll just say that across the board. Actually, both of them, but more my grandfather on my father's side than on the grandfather on my mother's side, just because I knew him better. And had more time to dialogue with him and talk over things and sort of get impressed upon by him. He said he was a lawyer. I think I've mentioned this before. He was a lawyer, so he was very astute, very decorum. A lot of decorum in everything that he did. He's just very neat and clean. It was like, okay, good. That is the sort of old man I want to grow into. Got it. Wonderful. So when I see these guys going around now with their pants down to their knees, like, okay, well, that's just not for me. Got it. Not for me. I see it. I understand it. Kind of. Not really. But it doesn't really matter because it's not for me. The problem that comes up is when I see this. My impulse has changed. Like I said, with the ear things, just run up and grab them real quick. But and it's changed. It's changed with the pants because the original thing was like, okay, step on his hem or just run up and pull him down real fast and laugh at him because he's an idiot. But I had the brilliant idea because I mean things like that probably happens all the time. They're used to it. They don't care. But because I am the me that I am, I'm more than a little bit sadistic, and I like to try and mold the world to how I want it to be rather than how it is already, my thought is I need to find some way to change the behavior of these fellows so that they are heavily motivated to never do that again. And I understand I'm probably not the best person to be asking their opinion on in this matter because, like I said, I have 24 years of influence from this very astute, very wealthy, very, well-respected man. I mean, you walked into the room where he was there, and he was like, okay, well, I see who you are. I recognize that you own the room that you are in, whatever room that happens to be in. If the president also happens to be there, I'm sure he'll ask you for permission before he does anything, just because you're that kind of a person. Not to say, I know a lot of people go, oh, it sounds like you're such a domineering, terrifying person. No, he was really just a really great guy, but he had a natural charisma that he just exuded everywhere that was very, very attractive and caused other people to give him respect, even in the absence of any sort of duty owed to him. So, like I say, he was a very, very influential person upon my life. With that, but I'm getting off topic again. I'm sorry. It's my channel, and I do it all the time. Not that I want to or that I intend to, but it just happens. But anyway, so I was thinking, okay, I need to find some way to alter the behavior and pantsing him, it's kind of a juvenile thing and everyone sees it coming and it is the most cliche joke you could possibly pull on him. And so I started just kind of let it simmer there, and I came across, after several months and years, this old prank they used to do in like the high schools back in like the 30s and the 40s and a little bit into the 50s and maybe in the 60s. And what they did is they took matches, and it was called hot footing, and you'd light the match and you'd slip it into the seam of someone else's shoe, and the match would burn down. When it got really close to their shoe, it would obviously heat up their foot to an uncomfortable level, and they would go hopping around the room, and everyone would laugh, and it would be funny. My thought was, I found it. I've got it. Not hot footing, we'll hot pants this. So what I thought was, let's get a box, maybe not a box, but like a little book of matches so that it's small and concealed, you can put in your pocket. No one knows it's there until it's time. And when it is time, you take your little book of matches and ever so quietly and carefully, you light the match, creep up slowly behind them, and just drop it in and run away real fast, run away real fast. About 30, 40 feet ought to do. Then, just watch the fun. Just watch them scream and run and terror and uncomfort, and it's just wonderful, it's beautiful. And I'm quite sure that after just a few people have done this, have experienced this very unpleasant thing, and don't worry, I have not done this. Like I said, it's one of those impulses, it's like the ear gauges. I've thought about it. I've put great detail in. I have imagined its results, but I have not done it. I don't recommend you do it either because it's probably illegal. I'm not 100% sure, but it's probably illegal. It just seems like one of those things that they don't let you do. No matter how much fun it would be, no matter how effective it would be in curing this perceived problem. I understand it's probably not really a problem, per se. It's not something that's really damaging society. It's just something that bugs me a little bit. And something that I want to just tweak a little bit, maybe a little bit too hard, maybe a little bit too far, maybe a little too, a little bit, just too much. Just a little bit. But Oh, the fun that could be had. The fun! Think of it. Just the whole, like, the whole little group of them walking down their pants around their ankles because, again, they can't be bothered to pick them up or buy one that's the right size or whatever it is that they do. And you have to admit, they all look stupid when they're walking with it. There's like, it's the frog walk that they have to do to, like, it looks like they're constantly stepping around something because they have to, like, keep their legs as wide open as possible so they don't just drop all the way to the floor, which is stupid looking already. I don't understand why this is a style per se or something that was considered to be desirous outside of a prison setting. But, you know, I don't understand it, and I don't particularly want to understand it. It's just something that I think would be really, really fun to just try and cure a little bit. I'm not saying like final solution. We're not going to go German on this. We're not going to go Nazis. Nope, not doing that. Just a little tweak. Just a little tweak. One little book of matches would probably be all it would take, at least in my area. Because, I mean, in my area, just, you know, like, everybody knows everybody. And, you know, like, just 20, 30 people. They hear about it, or it happens to them. It happens to them. And they tell all their friends, like, hey, there's some crazy guy running around here, dropping batches in the back of our pants, man. We need to stop this from happening. Pull him up, man. Pull him up. Get a belt. But, you know, like I said, I haven't done it. I'm probably not going to. Probably. Almost assuredly. Sadly, maybe. But that is what it is. Anyway, I hope you all have enjoyed what you listened to. Hopefully, someone out there identifies with me on this perceived problem. If you did, a like rating down below would be very much appreciated. If not, a dislike rating and a nasty comment telling me to get hip with the times. I don't know. I'm an old man in a young man's body. Who cares? Ha! I'm an old man. Get used to it. Whippersnappers. Anyway, thank you all for coming by today. I hope you did enjoy what you heard. I will see you all next time, and goodbye.